Well, hello and welcome to the Bowtie Gardens. I am in the backyard. We're about to do the outer garden bed tour, but this has got to go because it drives the bees crazy. Yeah, they're right there. Look at how active they are. Oh my goodness. That is just really cool. Unfortunately, I was wearing this hat yesterday and someone was helping me and the bees got excited over my hat and stung the poor person that was walking behind me, and I feel so terrible about that. I know better than to wear a bright red hat around the bee box, but yeah, it was a sad day. We had an event yesterday, and anyway, so yeah, we got the blueberries. We ended the front and side garden tours with the blueberries. The blueberries are looking strong. If you didn't see it, you got to go back and take a look at the whole front yard because most of the stuff happening for this month is up there, I think. Oh, well, is it? Is it really? Let's see what's happening around here. Now, I will admit, I was really hoping to have some more arches up in this yard, in this front garden right here. In fact, this was what we're calling the melon patch, and we haven't decided what to call it yet, but the melon patch was supposed to have 5 16-foot arch trellises installed in it in a cross pattern, but it didn't happen. I've run out of time and I've got to get stuff done. So yeah, life happens, you know, but there is still a lot of stuff happening in the outer beds that's a little bit exciting. I'm ready to see it start going. One of the next things we'll be doing is getting these arches up, and I'm going to do a little video on that. And there's another surprise right here next to me that I'm not going to show in this video. You're going to have to wait for another video. So I'm very pleased with how this turns out, and we'll be keeping you up to date on this surprise right here. It's white. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, let's get moving on the outer garden bed tour. We do this in the same order every single time. Remember, this is actually my own personal journal of everything that's been going on in the garden. And I like to be able to go back and look where things were. So many times, I can't begin to count the number of times I'm working on something and thinking, okay, now what did I do last year? When did I do it? When did it develop? And I will go back and I'm able to find everything and research what I've done, when it came up, and all. So my ADD brain really answers to that and does very good with it. So that's why I do things in a very specific order every single time. We did the front and side garden tour, and I wonder what it's a mosquito. Pop. Okay. Sorry about that. Did I shake the camera? Anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to cover here. Not a whole lot is happening except for maybe the pomegranates. Yep. These pomegranates have just taken off. It is just amazing. There are hundreds of little red flowers all over these. Now, if you didn't see the first part of this month's garden tour, the way these pomegranates develop is you see there's the serrated edge on the end here. Well, that's the base of the actual fruit. This is not a flower, it's actually the fruit. And you can see this flower here, I just said it's not a flower. This fruit here is starting to swell up here. It's already been pollinated, and the arils are beginning to develop, and this thing will blow up and be like a balloon and become the pomegranate. And this part here will stay about the same size. Just this stretches out and becomes the fruit. So that's how a pomegranate develops. And yes, we're going to have a lot of pomegranates this year. A lot of pomegranates. But now, some of you, if you've been watching, may remember that I trimmed a lot of these pomegranate trees down to 3 stems. Some of them were 20 stems. Some of them were even more than that. And I've trimmed them back to give them more focus on fewer stems and for the root system. And I'm hoping that it's going to pay off. Now, it is kind of getting on the roof up here. I've got to do a little trimming here to keep it off the roof. But yeah, lots of development here in the pomegranates. This is the Goji Berry, and it is not doing well. In fact, it has not produced in a while. So I'm a little concerned about the Goji Berry. I may need to feed it. I'm not sure what kind of feed it got before we got here, I know since I've been here, this goji berry plant has not gotten anything. So the blackberries, now some of these blackberry are looking quite dead, and I'm a little discouraged, but some of these, like this one right here, actually are growing pretty good. And so what I do, I simply go in here and kind of weave them through the cattle panel. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but you get the idea here. And these things will grow. So yeah, these hopefully we'll have some more blackberries. I do see some buds on here already. I had not noticed that till just now. There are a couple of buds, not very many. So we'll have to see what we get off of these this year. I'm still figuring out the blackberries. You can see they're all on the ground here. There's another blackberry. We'll see later. You can see that this one, that one right there is coming out with a new stem. We'll have to train that up onto the arch trellis. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. So as I've said, I'm hoping the next time you see this part that there will be more arches here. I'm a little disappointed that I wasn't able to get them up, but one of the interesting things is, look at all the zinnias coming up. If you saw the front garden bed tour, you know I've been planting zinnias up there. Well, I've been planting them back here too, and these are just dead-headed zinnias from the front garden. All kinds of colors and everything. And so you'll see a few of these zinnias kind of dotted around here. The bees are just amazingly active today. I'm a little scared to get too close to them without a suit on, but you can see there's a bunch of them out there. I just saw a video. In fact, if you've gone to my Facebook page, I've shared a video from Jeff Chesser on separating out a bee box, and I am really hoping that we are about to do that to this box because of the incident. I don't know if it'll settle the box down some or what, but because of the incident with my friend getting stung, trying to see if we can. Okay, yes, a bee just chased me. All right, yeah, they're a very active nest. And I was wearing the right hat and all. I'm gonna keep my distance. So you can see over here our fig trees, this back one. Now I thought this front one was gonna be taking off ahead of this back one, but you can see this back one is really taking off. I still had not trimmed down here at the bottom, but I will be getting there. And I have resigned that lemon tree is probably dead. You can see the elephant ears behind there that are growing. Going to leave them growing. We have, I think this is peppermint. That used to be fatale peppers, and this used to be jalapeno peppers, and both of those are gone, of course, because of the freeze. I did not bring them in because they were older plants. I think they were 3 years old. Now, we used to have a lemon tree right here, and looky there, it is a stump. I'm going to give it a little longer to try to grow something out of it, but I do not have any hope. And in all reality, as much as I'd like to keep all the fruit-bearing trees that are here, I didn't know exactly what it was, and if we have to replace it, I would rather know what it was that's in the ground, specifically the cultivar and everything else. So, yep, the wood pile from our tree removal, which is that right there, is still there. I did trim this pomegranate right here, got it kind of thinned down. I have not done anything with the lagustrum or privet hedge. I'm going to have to get out here and cut some of this wood eventually. But look at the jasmine. The jasmine is looking beautiful. I am standing 10 feet away from it, and I've already catchy whiffs of the flowers. Oh my goodness, they're wonderful. Now, my neighbor actually has a lot more jasmine, and you can see way up there. Let me see if I can zoom in here. That's all jasmine back there. And I know the bees are all over that right now. This is just mounds and mounds and mounds of jasmine. And he also has a beautiful right down here, he has a watermelon plant, or a pumpkin plant, I think it was, that we're kind of watching. I don't see the flower right now. Here's a picture of it I took the other day. So this chocolate mint is going strong. It's starting to get some water. We actually just had a really big rain today, and everything's a little bit happy right now because of all the rain. But yeah, this jasmine is just amazing. Oh, now I'm standing about 4 feet away and it's very strong. I like jasmine. I never really paid much attention to jasmine before. Now that I have some. And of course, this firewood pile, we're going to have to figure out a place to put this because I don't want it here. I want to grow some melons or something here. Cantaloupe maybe, I'm not sure. But that's not the big story here. The big story, if you've seen the Satsuma Orange Tree, oh my goodness, look at how bad it's cut back. This was heartbreaking. And if you saw my recent video about cutting the pink grapefruit tree, you'll know how painful this was for me. I actually had to cut a pretty large branch on the other side that had a lot of green on it. In fact, I'll pop up a picture right here. But this had a whole bunch of growth on it that was looking good, but this branch is so long, I didn't want it sticking out that far. And so that's that branch right there. There's one little thing growing right there, and I'm going to keep an eye on just that little branch. Because my theory is that all the energy that went into growing all those leaves and develop them, I'm hoping it will push all that energy into more growth on this branch right here. So that's the hardest cut I did. I hemmed and hawed around about that cut for quite a while, and I felt the pain. But that is the Satsuma Orange Tree, and almost all the dead wood off. There's a piece of dead wood right there I should have taken off. There's little tips here and there that I have not done, but you get the idea. This was a pretty big tree, and now it's not. Moment of silence. Okay, moment's over. If you saw the front and side garden tour, you remember seeing the Egyptian walking onion. Well, this is the main bed of Egyptian walking onion. Of course, it hadn't been weeded in a while, and it needs it, but these onions are just really taking off. And we talked a little bit about how these develop, and it's really quite interesting. And on this one plant right here, if you look right here, there's a tiny one right there. This is how they start. They grow a little bigger. Sometimes they lose their top. They grow bigger, and then what happens is there's little bulbules inside there that grow their own plants. And you can see on this one over here, look at all the little plants growing out of this. So what happens is this, notice how this is starting to sag over. This gets heavier and heavier, and it will go down and find soil, and it will grow a whole bunch of new plants. And it will create a whole new cluster like this. And that's how these things walk across the garden. And there's a lot of them growing. In fact, looky here. I just noticed this. This one here is growing plants, but this one here is getting ready to grow yet another one. Oh my goodness. These things are prolific. Great green onions. Come in here, cut them off at the base, and they're prolific. It's wonderful. Good for cooking. So there's the big lemon tree in another big pot, and I just noticed there are 2 pots right there. I could use that second pot. Of course, I could use the first pot. This thing is dead. Heartbreaking. There's another lemon tree back behind here that is dead. It's actually covered with grass, but I really haven't done anything with it because I'm quite discouraged about it. However, if we come around to the other side of this pomegranate, which has now, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Come around to the other side of this pomegranate, there is a lemon tree right there. That is a lemon tree. And so it is growing. I don't want to touch it. I'm going to keep anything from growing around it and see if we can start propagating new lemon trees off of that one tiny thing. That would be very cool. Lots of ivy growing up through here I need to clean out. But that big lemon tree right there died in the Christmas freeze. So the pomegranates, you saw the pomegranates at the beginning of this garden tour, and I trimmed them back to just a few branches. Well, look at all the the trunks that's in here. This is not the way the pomegranate needs to look. It should only have, well, I think ideally it should have one trunk, but they grow these suckers out and you have to keep them clean, and it takes a little bit of work. And the former owner, he was older and he was having trouble getting out here, so I don't know how many years it's been since these have been properly trimmed up. So we are working on getting these all cleaned up and looking good. There is a dead lemon tree branch sticking through it right there, but look at this one over here. See how many branches are back inside here? How many trunks, I should say, are back in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm counting at least 10, and there's a whole bunch more coming up down. That's some right there. There's a whole bunch more coming up that need to be trimmed back. And then there's other 2 pomegranates. They're among the worst. They're growing strong, but my oh my, they have so many trunks. That root ball can support a trunk. It probably can support 2 or 3 trunks, but this is just taxing that root ball too much, even with lots of nutrients. And so we have to kind of be careful about what we do with the tree and letting it get out of hand, so that we can kind of maximize the production and make big, tasty fruit. So that's kind of where we're at with the pomegranates. I'm gonna have to get through here and do some cleanup, which actually is nice because these lemon trees, I don't have a lot of hope. I've been watching this one little bit of green down here in the middle, and I don't know that it's gonna come up with anything. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I wish it would grow something, but I don't think it will. This trunk here looks like it's grown out after a freeze before, after maybe got chopped off, died off. I'm not sure what happened here, but this one doesn't look very promising either. So we'll have to just wait for this lemon tree. Scott Head did his lemon tree named Lucy, and talked about patience. It's hard sometimes. Some of the other stuff around here, the aloe is looking a little rough from the Christmas freeze. Hopefully, and I haven't cleaned this pot up. I've cleaned up some other aloe, but I haven't gotten to this one. Hopefully we're gonna get this growing back here in the next couple years. It'll take a few years. Bucket of spearmint here, more aloe, even more aloe. We have peppermint down here, even more peppermint. Oh, my original peppermint plant is gone. I had not noticed that. Okay, so that's 2 peppermints I've lost this year. Here's peppermint. It's going to be propagated into the bag that we lost out front, and we'll get it going again. Some decorative grasses back here. Of course, our big rosemary bush. They could do with some trimming back. It's been thriving in here. More aloe. And then back over here toward the compost, we have our loquat hedge, still in the same pots, needing up potting, looking a little strained. That yellowing is making me a little concerned. I'm gonna have to address these here pretty soon. So our poinsettias back here from last Christmas, they're looking rough, but they're gonna lose all their red leaves, and that's okay. They should be developing new leaves. These are poinsettias down here in the little square things, and they get watered every other day, whether they need it or not, and hopefully they will come back. Compost. We're down to the compost bin. That's the last thing. We still haven't done anything. I have added, in fact, down here, these are large bags of leaves, and I have added 1 bag of leaves and then put a heavy layer of grass on top. It needs another bag of leaves. This will get flipped into this bin once this bin is empty. This is our compost that we're using for this year, and keep an eye out for the upcoming compost video with the water tests. And this is where the compost came from, in that bottle marked C for compost. And it's the best stuff I've got. This stuff is black gold. It's anywhere between 1 and 3 years old. I started collecting this 3 years ago. The bulk of that came last year, between October of 21 and October of 22. And that's October of 22 is when I started this bin. You can see it's full. It's up to there. That's yard waste, rakings, stuff I gather, and weeds I pull, and kitchen scraps, and everything else. That's a very full bin. But this will get emptied, flipped into this bin here, along with some of the wood chips that are over here. So these wood chips are actually looking pretty good deep down. I was poking around right down there, and right somewhere down there, right under, yeah, right in there. And it is looking quite lush down there. It's still got a lot of chunks of wood, but it is definitely processing. So there you go, the outer garden beds for the backyard at the Bowtie Gardens, and the compost bins and all our dead lemon trees, and everything's cut back. And oh, it's a little heartbreaking because of all the Christmas freeze damage, but we are starting to get back into the season and starting the next year, and we are starting to plant the raised beds, and we'll talk about that in the next video. But yeah, so we're warming up for the new season and getting ready to see what we can grow. The bees are getting excited. The flowers are coming out all over the place. There's things popping up everywhere. In fact, I've had a few volunteers in the raised beds. I had a couple of potatoes pop up, and something else popped up I just noticed this morning. So just mind-boggling. Anyway, so we're coming down to the end of the outer garden bed tour, and I would like to say it's been a short one. I don't know until I've edited it. I think it's pretty short. Certainly shorter than the front and side garden tour. But yeah, we'll I do try to keep these short sometimes, but there's just so much happening. It's spring, it's March, you know, and so things are popping up everywhere. The pomegranate trees are just amazing how many flowers are coming out of them. Not all the flowers are going to survive and produce pomegranates. That's just the way they are. A lot of them will fall. A lot of them will fall, and that's normal. Last year, I think we had 45 pounds of pomegranates. We've lost one more pomegranate tree that I'm going to have to replace, and I'm going to have to take care of some of these over here by the compost and try to get them cleaned up as well. And in the process of cleaning up, right now I have so much debris on the curbside up front that I'm hoping the trash people will be able to pick it all up. So I'm trying to space it out so they're not so overwhelmed. And anyway, so the next part is the raised garden bed tour. This is coming out on 29th, which is tomorrow. This is the 28th. Oh my goodness, I gotta get this edited. We'll have to see if we can get this out on the 29th. We may have to push this to the 30th and do part 3 on the 31st. But I've been working on a lot of stuff right now. It's been, you know, life happens. And so you gotta kind of work around it and do the best you can. And so unfortunately, it takes me a little while to edit these videos and get them uploaded and everything. So if you're just stumbling along and finding our channel, please subscribe. And be sure to look at some of the other channels that I recommend, because I don't view my channel as an end-all of gardening information. In fact, this is my 4th year of what I call successful gardening. And there is so many people out there that have so much more experience and have done so many things and have a wealth of knowledge that it's worth going out there and seeking people out, finding the people that speak to you. And if someone else speaks to you better than I can, and you can learn from them better, by all means, that's the person you want to pay attention to. Hopefully one day I'm going to get someone that likes to listen to me. Well, I know I do have someone right now. We're at 147 followers. So apparently 147 followers were kind enough to subscribe, and in the hopes of coming back and watching some other videos. So I've been putting out a video a day or 2 some days for the past several months, and I'm trying to keep that up. I cannot promise it because we are going to be going on a trip here soon, and so we'll have to see if we can keep the content up. But yeah, so please subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. It helps grow this channel. helps grow the whole network of gardeners across YouTube. And if you have subscribed, I thank you so much for subscribing and continuing to watch. It helps. Every time someone watches one of our videos, it helps the performance of the whole channel. And if you like this video, if you think it was entertaining, informational, or educational, click the thumbs up and share it on your social media. If you have friends that you think might appreciate the information in this video. We do like to provide sequential information as far as the development of things, and then other videos that talk about doing things more specifically. And we got a video coming up here in a few days with that surprise over there. Okay, yeah. I can see it back there, but I don't think you can. Nope. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna stand right here. Anyway, you have to watch that next video, that other video that's coming out after this one. It'll be coming out later. But anyway, oh, I've lost another chocolate mint bag. There's a chocolate mint bag down there that doesn't appear to have made it. I'm gonna have to get in there and clean up more. Anyway, this is my own personal journal of everything that happens in my garden. It's for my own reference, but you are welcome to join along. Be sure to check out our Facebook page, Bowtie Life, and we haven't done a lot on our Instagram page, though we do have an Instagram page, Original Bowtie Life, and of course the website, bowtielife.me, not .com, it's bowtielife.me, me. So anyway, all that being said, and I always end my videos with have a blessed day. And, you know, I believe very strongly that all blessings come from God and not from me. And I believe that we can wish those blessings on others. We can pray those blessings on others. And I pray those blessings on every one of you. Have a blessed day.